I've got commercial patterns to show you and I'll be pairing them with fabrics from my stash, so expect a lot of color. Keep watching. Hi sewing friends, I'm Karina. This is Lifting Pins and Needles, a channel all about sewing. Welcome back if you're already a subscriber. If you're new and you like sewing, you might consider wanting to subscribe because there's a lot of sewing content on this channel. When you subscribe, tap on the bell or notifications so you never miss out when I upload a video. I am upstairs today, not in the usual place where I film, because I have a couch next to me here full of patterns and fabric, and it would have taken a while for me to take that downstairs. They would have all gotten mixed up and I would be so confused. I'm saying this because I have some patterns to show you that I've paired with fabrics from my stash. So none of these fabrics are new. If you have been watching for a while, I might have shown these in a fabric haul even up to 2 and more years ago. But I think they are suitable for the styles of the patterns I'm going to show you. There's a lovely subscriber who lives in the States, but she's actually Brazilian, and she came to visit her family a few months ago. She brought with her some patterns that she wanted to gift me, and she posted them to me from another city very far away from here to my home, and I have them here next to me. All these patterns are out of print. Some of them I would consider vintage because they're from the 80s and the 90s. That's when I was a child and I'm 40 now, so I think anything in the 90s is already vintage in my books. I'm going to be putting pictures here on the side of the pattern so you can see what I'm talking about. The first one I have is Macaws 9078, and this is a dress that comes in only one size. On the other side it says it was printed in 1997, so a good 22 years ago. This was actually the first year I entered university when I was 18. So these styles really seem familiar to me. I'm putting a line drawing here so you can see. I love the features that this pattern has. It has princess seams front and back with a zipper, but the special feature is that the sleeve is like one piece that goes onto the bodice, and it looks really fitted. I love it. It has a V-neck line, and the recommended fabrics here say rayon blend, soft crepe, wool jersey, wash silk. And because of the details of this dress and the seam lines, I think a solid color would show those off more than a print would. If you made this type of dress with a print, then everything would be lost in the print and it would just look like a dress. So I have an assistant here that's making me laugh right behind the camera. He's gonna be throwing the fabrics at me so I don't have to like get up and stuff. So this is the fabric. Martin, don't be a...
Keep it.
Okay, that was a little bit forceful. Okay, so I chose a rayon from my stash that is a solid color. It's just brown and it's very light and airy. I think this would suit the style because it's quite a full skirt. I would of course shorten that sleeve because I can't deal with a dress, you know, with full long sleeves. I can deal with a dress like that. So this style I can't make sleeveless because of all the design features the pattern has. But I think a nice flowy dress in this brown would be really nice, matched with a belt. And I have these shoes that are brown and pink that go with nothing. So I think this is a really good style for this pattern. The next pattern is from 1985. I would have been a tiny child at this age, about 6 years old. It's Simplicity 6793. And the style of this pattern is very, very 80s. Especially view 1, which is this one that has these little flaps coming out of the shoulder. I think that is very 80s. I think the other two styles, views 2 and 3, the one with flutter sleeves and the sleeveless one, those could be really classic pieces. I don't think they're like 80s in your face, and I think it's a good style. The one with the flaps here on the shoulders call for a more structured fabric, like a cotton, but this is not a view I would be interested in making with this pattern. I'm interested in views 2 and 3. I think views 2 with the flutter sleeves would suit my mum a lot. She likes that style of sleeve and she always likes a sleeve. And then the sleeveless version there, that's just got me written all over it. And I've got 2 fabrics chosen for this one that I would pair them. By the way, it's not that I'm going to make all these, you know, styles with these fabrics, because for some of these I don't have enough. But I'm just giving you an idea of why I would choose that if I had the right amount of fabric. Okay, so for the sleeveless version that I've shown you, I've got this. This is a peach skin. I would say it's a medium weight woven, but with a really nice drape. And I love the print on this because the print is diagonal. So when you're cutting on the normal grain line, it looks like you're cutting on the bias. And I think sometimes we cut on the bias just to have this diagonal look. And being on the straight of grain, having this diagonal look makes it really easy to sew with the same visual impact diagonal stripes have. So what I would do, and I actually might even do this, I would make the bodice with the stripes going in one direction, so all the stripes going that way, and then I would make the skirt with the slanty bit going the other direction, so like this and then like that. That is how I would make that. So that is one option. I have even another one as another option, and it's this linen viscose blend in zebra print. I think would drape amazing and look amazing for view 2 that had the flutter sleeves, and for view 3, which are the two views I'm interested in this pattern. So this would drape amazing on that style. Unfortunately, I only have 1.2 meters of this because it's sort of the default amount I buy when fabric is a little bit more costly. So I couldn't really make any of these two versions with this fabric, but it would be one I would choose. With this one, I do have enough for the sleeveless version. The next one is Butterick 4744, and it's this pattern. This is from 2006, so a bit more contemporary to our times. And I think the styles here are just the same that we use now. These are basically semi-fitted pants with leg variations. So some have a slimmer leg, some have a wider leg. I dig this one and that one. It's sort of like the styles I would wear. They recommend here lightweight wovens like broadcloth, linen, and denim. And I have a fabric in my stash that is none of those, but I think would work. And I have this green printed, look, I don't know what this is. It's made in the USA. The brand is Cranston, and it's got a brand Hotman. Look, I think this is old. I bought this on the street in the Bolivian markets, where I have bought a lot of fabric for like very, very cheap prices. And I've carried this stash around with me because it has a lot of value. Not that they cost a lot, but I think they're good quality fabrics. But I have no idea of the origin or... But being a cotton, it behaves like a lightweight denim. I would say it would be exactly like sewing a lightweight denim. And I just love this leafy print that is sort of subtle. The color is coming up much more green on screen. It's more of a khaki green more than like a bright green like you're seeing it there. So the color is much more subdued. And I actually have some crepes that would match this if I made tops. I'm trying to build a stash around some green because, yeah, I just like it, and I think this would be super suitable for any of these views here. I especially like that one. I like that length on me. I think with my height, I can pull off the cropped wide trouser look. I do have some and I do wear them, and I like that style on me. So this is a really good pattern. It comes, the one I have from sizes 14 to 20. So I'm looking forward to trying this one. The next one is from 1986, and it's a See and Sew 5467, and it's this one. I'm putting a picture here, but I really, really, really dig this style. It's got the cutest crossback. You might be able to see the crossback detail with buttons on the side there. I think it's just the cutest thing. The skirt seems to be like a half circle skirt with buttons going down the side. The fabrics that this one recommends are lightweight wovens, linen chambray, silk-like broadcloth. I still don't know what that is, and cottons. But I have a crepe that I want to show you. Vivian from Stitches and Seams sent me this one a couple months ago. and it's got stripes and it's a crepe. It's not sheer. I would say this is not a very lightweight. It's not very sheer. It is somewhat sheer, but I think with if I wear undergarments that match my skin tone, I could get away with just wearing this, and I think it would look amazing as a crossback. Now, I don't know how this is finished inside. I haven't looked at the pattern pieces. It seems to be that there's bias binding on the neckline. There's a very soft V neckline there that I can see. This pattern is from 1986, and I was very young at the time. I lived in Australia. It just brings memories. Just seeing the dates of these patterns brings me really nice memories, and having something that is that old. I mean, this is not old, but for me it is. This is like the oldest pattern I've ever seen. It just makes it really valuable to me. And I think this style is just as relevant now as it was like when I was a child. So I'm super happy to have this one. And I have another fabric that I've chosen to make the top specifically. So this one, I have already made a Fiore skirt from Closet Case Patterns. And the style of the skirt I've made is similar to the one on this pattern. So it's like a sort of like a quarter half circle skirt, bit of volume, but not that much. And I think the crop style of this top with the same fabric, this is a linen cotton blend, would be amazing. And then I could have like a fake dress, but not a dress, separates. And I have a meter here. I'm sure I could get it out of a meter for sure. So I'm pairing this, and actually I think this one will become a reality. The next pattern is from 1994. I was a teenager and I have vivid recollection of sewing dresses exactly like this when I was in my teens. And I'm not saying similar, I am saying exactly like this. The only difference is that at that time I was not using patterns. I was self-drafting everything. This is in my teens, 14, 15, when I started having input from my great aunt. She was my dad's aunt. She's passed away maybe 2 years ago at 94 or 95 years old. At that time, my dad would invite her to visit and she would stay with us for 2 or 3 weeks. And I would get intensive sewing lessons from her. She was a couture dressmaker and teacher, and her sewing was exquisite. And she taught me like so much. And yeah, at the time we drafted a dress like this, and I used that pattern for a long time. Back then I was a B cup and it was easier to sew, you know, when you have a smaller chest. And this is Macaws 7085, and it's a fit and flare with princess seams and godets. So the version I like the most here is version C, is the one with ties on the shoulder. I think that's really cute. Now, if I was to make this at this day and age, like at my age right now, I would not add the godets. I would just measure the pieces to see if they were adequate in the width, and I would just sew the godets closed. Like I wouldn't add the godets, I would just sew the seams, and that would give me a skirt that is not so full. I would also never make a dress that long. I would shorten it to mid-knee sort of thing. And yeah, this is a style I still like. I think a princess seam fits really well, and it's a style that suits a lot of people. I have selected a crepe in black and white that is not sheer. I would say semi-sheer. I could always wear the dress with a slip, and it flows really well. So for me, it's really important, if a dress or a skirt has a bit more volume, I really want the fabric to drape so that that volume is reduced and it just sort of hangs with less volume, rather than more structured fabric that would make it fit and then flare. I don't like that. I want it to fit and just flare a little bit. So I have 2 meters of this. I don't know if I could pull it off above the knee. I might be able to, although no, I don't think so. And you know why? Because this style has no seam at the waist. So the princess seam would go from here down to the full length of the dress. And because the pattern piece is open like that, it's very fabric hungry. And actually, what does this say? Yeah, the view that I like with the width of the fabric I have takes 3 1/8 meters. And that is an insane amount of fabric for me. Like, I would die if I had to make a dress with more than 2 meters. I think 2 meters is the most I would ever wanna use on a dress. So I would have to think about this and see how I could squeak it out of 2 meters. I'm sure it's possible. Now the next pattern is from 1995 and I looked it up online, but I think this brand of patterns doesn't exist anymore. And it's a brand called Style and the number is 2707. And yeah, I couldn't find like information about this brand, but it's a bunch of blouses. I think they're really cute. I'm putting pictures here so you can see. They've got a V neckline with ties at the front, darts on the waist, button down with collar options. And I think it's super cute. Now they all have sleeves, but I would make it sleeveless. And I would even attempt to make this into a dress. I think the shaping at the waist with all the darts is really good and it would be perfect to be able to be lengthened into a nice dress that has nice shaping. I mean, this pattern recommends gingham, cotton, silk types, crepe back satins, rayon. Oh, it's actually suitable for a bunch of types of fabric. But I'm sure it's not suitable for chiffon, right? Because nothing ever is. And this is a chiffon that Vivian sent me from Stitches and Seams. She of course knows my style. And look at this, it's just gorgeous. And I could make this into a dress for sure. I would finish the neckline and arm side with bias binding. I would make out of this. And because it's totally sheer, I would wear a slip underneath. I have a slip that is like this color and that I wear with dresses like that. And then you can't tell, I'm like, yeah, it's a good slip. I've had it for years and I'm gonna have it till it rips because it's perfect for styles like this that are sort of sheer and that I don't want to put like a black slip under it. So that is one, and I think the construction would be a bit more difficult, but totally worth it. The next one I have is sort of more of the recommended one, and this is a chambray. It's got a light sheen to it, it's lightweight, it's drapey, it's gorgeous on the skin. I have already used fabric the same as this one in a blue colorway to make a Montana shirt by Itch to Stitch that I always make sleeveless. So I know how it feels to sew and to wear, and it's beautiful. And I think this style would be perfect for this, especially to hold up the structure of the buttons and that V neckline and everything. I think I wouldn't make a dress out of this. I would just make the top. And yeah, that is my choice for that pattern. The next pattern is Simplicity 3503. This one is from 2008. I love this. I love this dress. This is a dress designed for knit fabric and it's got several different necklines. I'm putting some pictures there so you can see. There's like a halter top, like a fake wrap bodice that is empire cut. There's like a deeper V, sleeves. It's got a bit of gathering at the waistline and length variations. The pattern says cotton interlock jersey, stretch velvet, two-way stretch lace. And I only have one that is suitable that I can show you. Although this fabric has already got a purpose for another pattern that you're going to see on Sunday. This is actually the next pattern I'm going to sew, is using this rayon spandex, and it is gorgeous. It's navy blue with these flowers. It's super soft. It's got an amazing drape. This is one of the fabrics I received from Minerva.com in exchange for a blog post. So I have to get on with that project and make it up sort of soonish. But if I didn't have this fabric already like destined for something else, I would choose this to make this dress because of the drape it has. The other reason is this style has slight gathering under the bodice, very slight gathering, and it's not my preferred, but I think with a print that is darker you can get away with it and you can't really see it that much. And actually that's what they've done with that one right there. It's a print and I like how that looks, that you can't really see the gathers that much. So I think that this would be a great style for that. I really can't wait to make it because it's totally my style. Those necklines, the skirt options, it's just really nice pattern. The next one is from 1989 and I'm just throwing in details of my life. That was the year I left Australia and moved to the States. And this is Simplicity 9594. I don't think these styles are like 80s in your face either. Those styles of collars, camp style collars, are amazing. I love them. I love a shirt that has that. I think it's really feminine. and the styles aren't like super big or puffy. The fabrics they mention here are chambray, Oxford, lightweight linen types, crepes, silks. So basically light to medium weight wovens. I'm interested in this view that has the sleeveless. I love that. I think it's a style I would totally wear, and I love that collar. So I have this green rayon, and look at the slight print. So it looks like it's been tie-dyed, and I don't know what they've done, but it sort of looks like it's suede, but it's just a rayon. I love the flow and the style of this. I would love to have a blouse with that style collar in this fabric. Now, I know this might be a bit too drapey, a bit too flowy for the structure of that collar, but with good interfacing, I think anything can be done. So I would definitely choose this. So the next one is actually in the recommended. This is a chambray that I found a couple months ago, but it's a very atypical one because of the color. It's gorgeous. It's got the right structure. This is the right recommended fabric for this pattern. If you look up close, you can see some details of the chambray. It's got some little black little thingies there. This is the right side of the fabric. On the wrong side, instead of those black thingies, it's got white. So I suppose I could choose either or as the right side. I have to look at it and think which one is the one I like the most, because actually I could choose. And having a shirt in this fabric would be amazing. I would love to make it in this fabric. The next one is Simplicity 1589, and this is a Learn to Sew pattern from 2013. So I guess this would be the newest one out of the bunch, and it's two tops. There's two views here. View A has a really cool square sort of cutout detail at the back that I find really cool. It's totally my jam. I love patterns that have a detail at the back and that are simple at the front. I love that. And view B has like a crossover back. The recommended fabrics here are laundered cotton. I don't know what it is, like washed cotton. I'm not sure what that is. Rayon challis, eyelet, crepe back satin, jacquards, silks, wow, linen. So lots of types of fabric, and I have three actually that I want to show you. I really like this. I think the style is amazing. I could see making several of these. So this is the first one I have. I have shown this one before. I don't know what this is. It feels like some type of silk, but it really can't be silk for the price I paid. But look at the flow and this print. It makes it look like it's like a wool boucle, but it's actually not. I would use this one to make view B, the one that has the crossover back. I think it's really flowy, and I think that crossover needs that flow. I think it would look amazing in this fabric. This next one is a silk that my husband brought me from Rome last year. I have been terrified of even looking at the silks he brought me. I have them there in a little special place in the stash. And this is a bit more structured. It's not as flowy as the other ones. And that is why I would make view A, the one that had the cutout detail at the back with this. I think that detail needs a little bit more structure for it not to like flop around. So a classic silk top in blue would be amazing to have in my wardrobe, and I would make that view with this fabric. The last one I want to show you for this pattern might make you a little bit dizzy, and it's really, really drapey and amazing. Look at this. I look at it and it makes me feel a bit sick. I hope it doesn't make you feel sick. But view B, the one with the crossover back, I would make in this fabric. Look, I don't know what this is, some satin type, silky type. I'm not sure. It wasn't that expensive. It wasn't that cheap either. That's why I only have like a meter. I'm sure I could get it out of a meter, or I hope I could, you know. But this is a choice I would use because it's such a simple style. I think the print like this doesn't really need dots and interruptions and lots of seam lines, and that's why I would choose that one. And the very last one is Vogue 8363. This is from 2007, and it says Vogue Easy Options. And there are 6 skirt varieties there, sort of pencil skirts with button-down options and like little gathered things. There are 2 views that I'm interested in this pattern that I like. The first of them being view F. That one right there has like a tulip shape with some pleats there. And it's still like a straight skirt style that I like. On the back of the envelope, they mention a bunch of woven fabric, gabardine, satin, crepe, piqué, embroidered fabric with scalloped edges. I think you can make a pencil skirt in any type of woven. So the fabric I would choose for this view, that is like a tulip shape with some pleats there, is probably not the most traditional for this type, but I like it. And I think with a lining, I think it would work. It's a bubble crepe with stripes and roses there. I love it. And I think that style with the pleats on the front, when you actually make the pleats, it would make the pleats look really interesting with the stripes, in my opinion. This would need to be lined, of course, because I don't think it's got the right weight for like a skirt that you can't line unless you want your undies to be seen. This is the other view I'm interested in. It's got some lateral buttons there. I really like that style and I have the perfect fabric for it. And I have asked some of my friends what this fabric is. It feels like leather when I touch it. It sticks onto each other. It's like furry on both sides. It's actually the same on the right and the wrong. I don't really see like difference between both sides. And it's got some texture there. So I've been told this is like a fake suede. You know, it looks, if I make it, it's gonna look like I'm wearing a green leather skirt. I think that's really cool because I've been trying to build up green in my wardrobe. It's a color I love. And I think this fabric would be amazing for that structure of that pencil skirt and the buttons down on the lateral bit. So you don't even want to see what the couch next to me looks like. It's just like a mountain of fabric. I'm gonna have to tidy up, fold away and put where it belongs. Yeah. It was fun though. It took longer than I expected to choose all these and match them together. I gave it a lot of thought. Usually I do this when I'm gonna do a project, one project at a time. And now I had to do this for like a bunch of them at a time. But I think it was a great idea. Thank you for all of you that gave me the idea in the poll I put up on the YouTube community tab. I wanted to say thank you to everyone for your kind words of support on the video I uploaded showing you all about my Patreon page. I thank you so much for that. Greatly appreciated. I will see you very soon tomorrow with another exciting video where I'm using mini pattern pieces again to show you a hack I'm doing to a dress. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. What can I